I am going to make it. Good morning, everybody. It is, Tuesday, February 15th. I know there's a myriad of birthdays. I know they're going to get announced on Facebook. Obviously, as a staff member, we've got a little bit of a hit sheet in front of us. I do want to shine a light on one of our returning stars who came back to the family within the last 12 months. And she's, I'm not going to say how old she is today. She was 49 yesterday. Allison Mueller. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Allison.
Yeah, I was actually just making fun of the fact that she was like, we're the same age. And she said this, and I was like forgetting that today was her birthday.
Never be older than you are.
There's that. Nobody's ever older than me. I made this distinction a while ago. Everyone in my life is taller and younger than me, for sure. And if you look at Mueller next to me, I look like I'm from the Bronze Age. She's a hard 26 years younger than me if you put her next to me. Yeah, so there's no, you would never be like, there's no way that you turned that today. She did, though. So if you see Mueller in the wild, say happy birthday. We are so pleased to have Kaylee Brackett, who's always locked away. You're like, oh, my God, I can see inside her office. I just don't know where she lives. That's because she's always hiding, because she's always counting to get you guys paid, to keep the lights on. She has to remind Nate we can't buy a third helicopter because we have a party coming up. The Golden Gary's got announced. That's really cool. It's coming up 3322. Write that down, March 3rd. Those are coming up. That's a 4:29:59 start. 4:30 in the afternoon, those will be underway. And that, of course, there's going to be an opportunity to jump into the room and be part of it. We're going to use all our cool stuff that we use, like what we're using right now, our eCam tools, and our executive producer, Robert Vincent, is hard at work. He's probably been up all night on his 15th cup of Sanka, and he's slaving away on that now. Kaylee's here to talk about what's most important in the next...
Suzanne and I were actually just talking about Robert in that sense yesterday of how, like, had we not had Robert when COVID happened and we had to go virtual, what a nightmare it would have been. And I can only imagine how awful that presentation would have looked.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure. We clustered our way into obviously moving as much as we could from an education standpoint. But yes, the award show, it wouldn't have been. It's. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah. You go right to that blotchy sepia tone footage that would run before an old movie. You know, the boys are fighting on the front lines. Yeah. War, they cried. It would have been terrible. It would have been terrible. Anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah, all that. So just so you know, we are 90 days out from Monday, May 16th, and coming up in the next week or so is Family Reunion, which is going to be different yet again because it's been digital for a couple of episodes, and now we are going to hybrid. I do believe Mark King was talking yesterday, Kaylee, that about 11,000 of our closest friends will be in person-ish. Here's my prayer, too, because while we're down there, and we're going to get some of the legalities out of the way. If you're going in person, we're going to talk about the experience both in person and, of course, whether you're engaging online. In person, you are going to show up. You are going to present your 72-hour PCR test or your vaccination card. You're going to get your lanyard for the event, and they're going to color code the lanyard, which is pretty cool. So green means lick my face. Yellow means air high five. Red means give me a wide berth. So that being said, I feel like JV might have two red ones on. No, she's an air high five. She's an air high five. She still loves the high five. You can't drag the college athlete out of her. She's still a high fiver. I'm like, just do a fist bump. She goes, I don't like that. I'm like, you don't like chocolate. She's an alien. She's an android. Yeah. She is. Anyway, but she's ours. Let's talk about all the logistics. First and foremost, if you are heading to Orlando, your favorite tool, Call Multiplier, where I text you guys to remind you about your masterminds, weather closures, that phone number that you should have labeled as KWCLM, so you understand it is coming from the company. We're going to use that. We've already got the list built, so you're going to hear from us as Nathan is hoping to navigate you through joining us here, meeting us there, where we might try to sit as a group together separately inside the convention center. That's probably the first thing that you should remember to have ready to go on your phone. And then the other thing, and we're going to get to this, but I'm going to skip real quick to this, Kaylee. We were talking about having business cards and having, or if you're able like just to share your assets digitally through your phone. I think one of the coolest things you could do for the next week or so, if you're going to be terra firma in Orlando, is, and it doesn't take long and you can do it for free, get a QR code that is tagged to all your contact stuff, and make that your homepage on your phone right now.
Yep.
Right? So when you meet somebody, you literally hold up your phone, and they can just scan it, and it's going to grab and go with your stuff, and that way you have that. And
Yeah, there's so many different ways. I think the biggest thing is just be prepared to share your contact information, like whether it's through business cards, quick on the fly, QR codes so that they can scan it for convenience. There's like if you have an iPhone, I'm not sure on Androids, but you can create a contact, fill out your entire information. We're talking phone, email, website, social links, anything that people could possibly need from you.
Yep.
And the advantage to doing it that way is when you share it, you're getting their contact information, and you can save it in your phone and make a little note real quick at the same time. But there's so many different ways, so have some plan.
Yeah, I do believe the other way in person, and I think you're going to see this as well with the digital aspect. If you've been to the homepage and you've started to fill out your information on, because everybody who's going also has access to their digital ticket, and you're going to have access to that content through April 22nd, I believe, there's a barcode. And I trust that barcode is also going to be at the bottom of your lanyard if you're in real life. So if somebody has the Family Reunion app, yes, there's an event app for Family Reunion. If you have that, it's an open and scan that way too. So there's absolutely no way, if you're standing there with another human in Orlando, that you shouldn't be able to exchange information pretty quickly. Now, people still love their brick and mortar. I have an actual business card, and I used to always tuck them behind my name tag in the lanyard, and you just sort of keep them separated. I've got mine, and I got the ones that I'm gathering. Most people are going to do it digital now. I think a lot of people are moving that way. So,
well, it won't get lost that way.
Yes, I thought you meant I wouldn't get. I'll still get lost.
Oh, yeah.
Security will be on the lookout for me for sure.
Yeah. We put that little sign behind your lanyard that says "Do not return."
Yeah. Well, or I just get the big orange balloon on my scooter, right? Yeah. Because JV's still coming off knee surgery, and she's like, it's a lot of walking. And I said, well, get you a scooter. And she's like, I don't need a scooter. I'm like, well, we'll get you a scooter anyway.
We need a scooter.
Yes. Yeah, we'll get a side-by-side. It's like we're going dune bugging. Yeah. Take it out to the beach. Yeah, JV's going to be sick of me at about 9 o'clock tomorrow. We get in the car at 8:30. Yeah. 30 minutes in, she'll be done with me.
For sure.
Kaylee's got a list of stuff we want to run through, and we want to make sure you guys hear us loud and clear. These are best practices. Comfortable shoes. Important. We know when we go to these events, and without fail, executives across the country, I think corporate America has gotten very comfortable. And this is also a time that people like to show out, which I completely appreciate, right? Think like Southern Baptist Church show out, like your church clothes. Like people are all dialed up. And you get there, and you've got your amazing heels that you spent all the money on. And then you're like, oh, these are all cement/marble floors. And you're walking, and you're walking, and you're walking. So I would pack the kids. Pack something comfortable. Running shoes are probably your best bet, or something very comfortable for marching around, because there's a lot of walking. Even within the event center, above and beyond that, just everything that we're doing, because we're going to be going all over the place. And if you're heading to Disney, which I trust a lot of you are, more walking.
Yeah, and if you want to brave the shoes, just bring Band-Aids.
Yes.
You'll likely need them at some point, for sure.
For sure. Have your water container if you think you're going to need one, and because it's better to have a container that you can attach to your backpack or whatever you're carrying, or in your hobo bag. There's refillable water stations all over the place. There's going to be bottled water. There's going to be snack bars. Nothing's cheap.
There's going to be lines.
There's going to be lines, and nothing's cheap for sure. So packing snacks, Kaylee had that in there as well. This is hyper important, without fail. This thing, if you've got stuck in your head, no, my phone's really good. And a lot of people, might have a phone that has a powerful battery, and I appreciate that. But I know here, and I do my best to not rest it in it, but I have a stand charger on my desk. Mm-hmm. And when we're in real life, in a regular day, I plug my phone in the car if I need to. It's on a charger at my house. It's on a charger here. You forget when you go to an event, and it's looking for a signal in a big steel building, and then above and beyond that, it's also pulling Wi-Fi. When all the radios inside your phone are looking for something or struggling to find a signal, the battery's going to erode really fast. So have a backup battery pack. If you don't have one, Anker is my favorite company, Anker. You can probably order one today on Amazon and get it shipped to you in time. And it's going to be about the size of your phone. Now, a lot of the iPhones are MagSafe. You can actually attach a rechargeable battery to the back of it, and it sticks to it, which is pretty cool. But that's going to be definitely important to have for sure. What else we got? The layer.
An extra layer. It's going to be chilly.
Layer. Yes.
Everyone's excited for warm weather, but it may not be the case inside the building.
And no judgment here. If you are a female or Jeff D'Angelo, you should bring some sort of a shawl. For the gentlemen that are more buoyant, like myself, I don't get into the convention center and think, God, I could use a sleeping bag right now. Although they do obviously dial it up for two things. They're going to want to make sure they're knocking down the germs to the best of their ability. They want to make sure people are awake, and they want to make sure people are comfortable. And if it's too warm, you can only get so naked. If it's cold, you can go out to the convention floor and buy a Red Day jacket, right? So, yeah, bring a layer. Have some sort of a light jacket if you do sit down and it feels really chilly. I'm probably going to be polo shirts and sport coats. That's usually the go for me on a trip like this because I think it's going to hang right around 80 degrees. Extra layer for sure. Kaylee's got a great point here, too. Make a list of a few questions that you would want answered if you ran into Gary. Now, the probability you're going to run into G-Man is few and far between. You might see him in the wild, but he's always scooting to the next thing for sure because he's going to masterminds or he's backstage or he's prepping interviews. I can tell you this, and I talked about this after Dave Jenks passed away. The first big event we went to, and I think it was family, I met Dave Jenks, and I just saw him walk up and said, thanks for everything you do. I had seen him teach, but never seen him in the wild. Shook his hand, and he's like, what market center? And I told him, he's like, what's your role? And you'll hear that from people when they meet you. They want to know what you're doing. It says it on your name tag, too. And I said, I just took the productivity coaching role. He spent a good solid 20 minutes with me, and it was like priceless, right? The guy's a genius. God rest his soul. So he was awesome. And you don't know who you're going to run into. And I would add to that list that Kaylee made, who do you want to connect with?
Yeah.
Like, who are the people that you want to meet while you're there? If it's somebody connected to your role, if you're a rainmaker, I want to sit and have coffee with other rainmakers. So you get really more meat off the bone when you go to this event. You don't just sort of sit with your group. It feels weird to go to a party, right? We always joke about this when people go to mixers. They go to mixers and they hang out at the wall and they don't mix. Like, this is the biggest mixer in real estate that's held by one single company. So please.
Well, and some of these questions, depending on where you go with it, can apply to anyone that you meet. Not necessarily Gary, but if you walked by Jay or if you walked by Mark King or any of the speakers that are on stage, it can apply to whether they're a solo agent or a mega agent. There's information that you're going to be able to get from anyone. So I think it's just taking advantage of those moments because something as casual as standing in line for a water could turn into a powerful conversation for you. Yeah,
for sure. Kaylee put get lots of sleep. So I can tell you, my freshman year at Mega Camp, and obviously this goes back a ways. So I wasn't Grandpa Lindsay at that point. I was great Uncle Lindsay, I think. But my first Mega Camp, I rolled up the sidewalks. We were out all hours, and I'll never forget because obviously Nathan, holds all of us to a higher standard. So I knew that I needed to be there. And Gary used to start things at like 7:15. So I got myself all dolled up, got into my favorite sundress, and I was there on time. And of course, Gary's already up on stage, like with his pants up to his nipples, screaming because Gary used to tuck his shirt. If Gary's listening, I love you, Gary. And if I get let go, I had a good run. Yeah, Gary's going at it at like 7:30 in the morning. So there's a little more grace in the morning these days, although enjoy yourself and also understand you invested in this as a business trip. Orlando will always be there. The next drink will always be there. And getting back to your hotel and just being mindful of giving your body the rest. If you haven't been traveling, if you haven't been near 12,000 people with everything going on is going to be really important. Staying hydrated and getting your sleep.
That's true. This could be a first trip for so many people in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So their body may be quitting on them before they even get to bed. So definitely take that into consideration. Obviously, have fun, have a good time. There's a lot of networking opportunities after hours, but definitely listen to your body.
Yeah, I mean, if you're tired, head back to your room. That's why you paid for it. Being flexible, plans are going to change. You are with the biggest plan changer on the planet, Nathan W. Dickey, and his schedule obviously is jam-packed as our regional director, as our OP, as a heavy hitter within the company. Everybody wants Nathan's time, and he's really excited to be at an event like this with you guys and show you guys off. So, if you are planning to do something and you get a text from us that we're heading here, there, or everywhere, and it's pretty set in stone. We're not going to be like having surprise parties at 3 a.m. But when you get that text, we're going to ask you to join us if you can, and also listen to your body, and just know that the schedule might get changed. We had that happen the last time we were at family reunion was Dallas. Simon Sinek was supposed to be on stage, and we do believe he got something. This is before COVID became a thing. He got something and couldn't join us.
Before.
But that put Seychelle Van Poel and the Rockstar ladies on stage for their first interview before their podcast hit. Yes, which was amazing. Yes, is that the story when you and I were sitting next to each other? So Sarah Reynolds, who's also part of that podcast, is on stage, and Kaylee's pregnant with Waylon. I obviously have my 2 boys who are getting older every second, and Sarah Reynolds is like, "Yeah, don't forget you only get 18 summers." And I turned to Kaylee and I'm like, "You're crying. I'm not crying." She's like, "You're crying, stupid." But it hit both of us as parents, right? Like that. It was just.
But it's those moments that,
you don't want to
like,
miss.
For us, like 3 or 4 years down the road, you'll never forget, and it's just that simple conversation. Because, like, for me, my mindset was always, "Oh, summer's our busiest time. Like, there won't be a summer vacation," and
yes,
my mind has changed since then.
And now you have Waylon, and everything's changed about where your time is best spent. Correct. Yep. Yeah. Which is my contention with most of the things we do as a company. I would say Bold, we're in the middle of Bold right now. I think with Bold, it's super important. I think with this event, it's super important to remember that our company is God Family Business. You're going to hear that from stage. You're certainly going to hear that Tuesday morning from Mo Anderson. Super cool event. If you're staying through Tuesday morning to go to the inspirational morning with Mo, she brings out leaders from every faith to lead us in prayer, and then we go into all the cool things. There'll be a lot of stuff about our response to COVID, a lot of stuff about Red Day practices, and then some really cool stories about people just overcoming huge things. I think the kid a couple of years ago was the gentleman with Down syndrome who endeavored to do his first Ironman, and his dad got involved with him with the whole 1% better. Some really cool stuff that you hear about, then you see it on the news afterwards. So we have a pretty well-connected executive leadership team in Texas, so there's some really cool stuff that is going on there. After that, on the last day, I know I'm jumping all over the place, is the golf event.
Yes.
Where we're going to embarrass our market center at the highest level over at Champions Gate, and that's all for a great cause. I think at this point, golf is sold out if you want to hang out. There's still there is an event ticket to be on campus and to be marching around and running into people, and it's all for a great cause, so that's still taking place. We talked about setting up the call multiplier.
Yeah, so the call multiplier, you may get a text in the morning, like as soon as seats are reserved. Yep. Tim's going to handle that for us in our absence.
You love that I am suddenly the chaperone, which should horrify everyone. Yes.
It does.
It does. Keep going.
That's why we're here today. So the call multiplier, obviously doors open for the main sessions and everyone goes flying in. So the purpose of that is to let you know where our group is sitting during those sessions. If you choose to sit with them, if you choose to sit with random people and build relationships, that's great too.
1,000%.
But it will likely say we're in the 4th section from the left, 6 sections back. Yeah. Look for the pole that's labeled F. Just get ready to follow directions.
And know that we do our best. And every year we're like, we should get one of those. You're going to see market centers that have rocket launchers, illegal fireworks, umbrellas with their numbers on it, like a 463 umbrella. People go crazy reserving seats and all this stuff. My prayer is, good morning, Gary, I hope you do this. If they were expecting in a real world situation, family reunion is creeping up on usually about 20,000 attendees. Mm-hmm. They're having that because they want to reduce the numbers and keep everybody spaced out and safe. I hope they keep an inordinate amount of open chairs available so people can spread out. But to Kaylee's point, and back to the mixer concept, we'd love if you sat with us. And I also appreciate if you want to just go sit with Arkansas and build referrals. Go on command today and find out where most of the referrals are coming from. And then find that market center. And then lick their face if they have a green badge on, right? So if you're doing that, or if you just want to sit quietly because you're taking notes, we also appreciate that. But we're going to let you know where we are to the best of our ability on a regular basis when these sessions start. Main stage stuff will be able to sit together. Then we get to the breakouts, and that's where it's changing this year because they're going to make sure that everybody can be in the same space, get the same content, and have the hybrid broadcast delivered, if I heard Mark King correctly yesterday, Kaylee.
Yep.
That was what he was talking about. So we talked about all the contact stuff, correct? We're through that. Perfect.
Yep.
We have notes.
Yeah,
Kaylee took copious notes.
Opportunity of building the relationships. There's lots of learning to be had, but that can be done digitally as well. So take advantage of being in person and building those. As Tim said, in the referral section of Command, you can kind of see referral patterns of where referrals have been sent to our market center, and where referrals are going. So identify a big city or something where you may not have a referral partner. Like if you know you don't have anyone in Chicago, like go on a mission to find someone from Chicago that you can have an interaction with.
Yep.
So just be prepared for that. And then making sure you're putting them in your network when you return or when you get back to the hotel that night.
There was one year, one of the last times Kel Course made this trip, he had his pink suit with him. He had his he wore his tutu at family one. I mean, so Kel Course, who looks like a merchant marine, you know, with his 8-foot beard, is marching around in a tutu. Everybody wanted to meet him. Because you're like, first of all, what's happening?
Year.
And it was referrals. Yeah, he was doing referrals for a certain amount. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think it was the first year that they didn't hand out the little booklets. It's that it went digital, and he was trending on the social side of the app.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So then we get to make sure you have the events app. If you go on right now and go into your iOS store or you go into Google Play and just punch in KW Events, it's branded black and white. It says FR22. Download that app. You're going to log in. You can use the same login that you created for your digital ticket. So obviously if you're going, the event app is important. You can download it if you're home too and have access to a lot of the stuff on your phone as well. And then Saturday, there's 2 different versions of the breakouts, Kaylee, which I think you heard loud and clear, and I guess I didn't hear loud and clear. I was distracted by
potentially.
Yeah.
I searched for more clarification after, and I don't have it, so maybe we can send out an update. But yeah, they're kind of in an effort because there's only so much technology, and they are broadcasting everything so that we can enjoy it digitally. They are trying to keep everyone on what they're considering tracks.
Yeah.
So you'll be kind of hanging in the room for a portion of the day. I think it's a 5-hour block on Saturday, where they're bringing all of the topics to you based off of the track you choose. And the options are solo agent, individual agent with an admin, teams, expansion, and leadership.
So that being said, this brings up a very important point. The differentiation between this and Mega Camp. Mega historically falls during the week. Family, for whatever reason, I don't know. It's one of the questions I'll have for God later. Why is this always on the weekend? I don't know. But it's always on a weekend. We typically land Friday. There's some welcome party Friday night. Saturday, Sunday, Monday are the 3 big days. Tuesday morning is the morning inspirational morning, and then you're off, and we'll go to golf after that, and then people are heading home. So that being said, the fact that it's over the weekend, I do appreciate that, okay, well, I'm going to be home with my family. If you've invested in the digital ticket, the probability that you're going to watch it all later, even though you have access to the content up until April 22nd, is slimmer and none than most. So if you can do your best to ask for grace from your loved ones and say that mommy or daddy is going to be locked away in a room and really treat this as you're doing something. I can, as an example, and I know Lesniak and Darlene Caldwell-Ellis are going to be in Orlando, but when it was digital, what they were doing is they would go get a room at the Wentworth.
Yep.
Or downtown in the Sheridan, and they would lock themselves away, pretend they were on a trip, and then meet in a conference room, and be at the event. Is that real high level thinking? Absolutely is. Do I recommend it? 1,000%. If you can't pull that off, just rope off a room in your house and just ask for grace, or go to one of our offices and put yourself in a conference room and do it that way. So everybody understands too. Then on Monday for the keynote, we are going to have that available in the training room in Portsmouth, and I trust Mark and Jason will also have that available in the training room. So if you didn't get your digital ticket, if you're not going to be in Orlando, you're going to be here. Keynote on Monday will be available in our training rooms, both in Meredith and Portsmouth for sure. And you can also.
And the keynote and vision is usually available live on Connect. So even those that don't have a digital ticket, if you decided for whatever reason you weren't going to make that investment this year, those usually are broadcasted on Connect Live. It's just the recording won't be there for a few weeks.
And what is the vision speech you're asking? So Gary, every year, he is going to pepper in State of the Company and talk about where we're at. Vision speech is him looking back on 2021 for trends for North America. So he's going to talk about the U.S. numbers and the Canadian numbers, and then he's going to talk about what he sees coming for the industry. And so far, his timing's never perfect, but he's always eventually right. And you could be like, well, anybody could do that. No, Like Gary will nail all the trends. Gary, and again, if you saw the thing that one of our competing brokerages was celebrating that their leader was number 200 on influence, I think, in all of real estate. And the irony is when you went to that article, Kaylee, to click to find number 200, number 1 was Gary. Is he perfect? No. Does he know more than you? Sure. And is he willing to share that knowledge with us this coming week? Absolutely so. I think the vision speech, you should be locked and loaded for that. Tons of information. The slides from the vision speech are made available to everybody through Connect after the fact. You can make them part of your listing presentation. So once again, Gary's handing us his tools, the benefit of being here. Smartest guy in real estate, most influential guy in real estate is going to share his slides of his vision for last year and the upcoming year that you can steal, R&D, rip off and duplicate, and use for your listing presentations. Yep. That's worth its weight in gold. That is the digital ticket, hands down, worth its weight in gold for sure. Red Bash. If you're in Orlando, Red Bash is going to be the National Awards and Red Bash and DJ War and Peace, which coming off the halftime show from the Super Bowl, Mark King, God bless him, our president, was trying. He's like, he's a turntablist. Like he couldn't just say it was just he's a DJ. That's all. That's all. I think people hear DJ and they think radio DJ, like
He was trying to find something fancy.
Yeah, and I was like, no, he's just a DJ. Thank God, because we've had some horrific. I don't know if they're probably still going to pepper it in. They've had some contests.
Oh, it's still there.
There's been some. Is the talent show still happening?
I think so. Yeah, remember you're singing?
God save the Queen. No, I'm not singing. I will not be singing. But this is where there's usually a fundraiser where you can, donate an inordinate amount of money on a guitar that might hang in the Shark Tank in Portsmouth eventually. Oh, that's right. It's still there.
Still there.
I know he's not super worried about symmetry, but I think we need a second guitar. So maybe that happens in Orlando. We're driving. We can put it in the back on the way home.
There's no room. You're packing all of your bags.
Yes. I'm packing all my heels and all my sundresses.
They are doing this year. They've combined their awards ceremony and Red Bash. So the awards that they would normally give out in a private event ceremony will be happening at Red Bash this year as well.
Yeah.
So it might be a different flow.
Super cool. And then Sean Aker is Monday. He is the keynote. The Happiness Advantage, Big Potential are a couple of his books. And again, this is somebody that Gary clearly looks up to, thinks he has a great story to tell, thinks he has a lot of information to offer. He wouldn't be the keynote for this event if he weren't. And then, of course, Tuesday morning, Mo Anderson. She does the Inspirational Morning. If you've never been part of that, she is the chairman. She's also our Queen of Culture. And she's going, like I said, she's going to bring out faith leaders from all the faiths. They lead us in separate prayers. Then we get into all the stories, and then it breaks out from there. You'll see a lot of people in the hall if you're in Orlando at that point with their luggage ready to go. Some people will have already left. And then above and beyond that, we're heading over to play some golf for a great cause for KW Cares. And then we'll be on 95 North by Wednesday morning.
We'll see you in March.
Oh, my God. We'll be back. Yes, I might be in these same clothes for the award ceremony on March 3rd. You never know.
2 other events to add.
Yep.
The New England region is hosting Topgolf. So if you're attending and haven't registered, make sure to do that. It is Sunday from 7 to 10.
Yep.
And it's something that they're sponsoring, so there's no cost associated with that. And I believe if you are on our in-person roster, you would have received a message from Brad Kelly yesterday. And if you haven't received it yet, don't stress. Just reach out to me so I can make sure you're on our list and we know that you're attending. We are working on planning a day at Epcot, and I believe it's going to be Friday. So you should have heard from him. So make sure if you're going to be in the area and joining them to let him know, and we'll get your ticket on your behalf.
Yes.
Treat.
Brad Kelly, all the magic hours. All the magic hours, yes. He'll be running around with his wand.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to see is, and I know Nathan's been, I know Bradley's been, and I know the great Boyd Watkins has probably been 50 times last week. Star Wars. Oh, Boyd Watkins is, yeah. Him, Nate, and Brad. Mickey doesn't know Mickey won't know what hit him. Yeah. Boyd Watkins says he has an out-of-body experience. Like his kids could ask for anything inside the gates of the greatest place on earth, the happiest place on earth, and it's always a yes. Always a yes. Everybody gets 3 lightsabers. Boyd Watkins is just down there making it rain. So,
as he should.
Good really cool thing. So again, Red Bash is going to run so you'll finish your block on Sunday. You'll scoot up to your room. I think people stay in red most of the day. Red Bash is going to be for us probably about 6 to 7 because we are going to head over obviously to Top Golf for the regional thing. And even if you don't golf, it's just a cool experience. Watch other people hit, food, drinks, all the stuff. So a really great event. And this is the first Red Bash or regional event being thrown at Family Reunion by our new regional leadership. Yes.
Partially true.
Oh yeah. Well, they had the handoff. There was the baton pass.
Yeah,
way
I
back
guess
when.
that
Yes.
was a combo one.
That was pretty good. This is going to be
Great.
You're going to have a great time. You get to blame it on Bovey and Erdman and Dickey. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Mostly the gentlemen, probably.
Oh.
Blaming it on them if it's not.
Oh, blame it. Well, I mean, blame it on them if it's great. Yes. Yeah. And then behind the scenes, of course, the person that's going to make it really all happen, much like you and Susanna do locally, is Cassie Sylvester, for sure. Yes. The reason it's going to be awesome is her. But yes, unfortunately, the boys will probably get all the credit. Anyway, I think that covers most of it. We're at 9:02.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. And digitally, like you said, committing to the appointment yourself and treating it as if it's the real event.
Yeah, lock and load. And I know it's on the weekend, and I know when you signed up for it, you might not have realized that. Trust me, there's meat on this bone. There's a reason people, are making this trip and why it's held in such high regard. What's your early guess for next year? We go West Coast typically. We're going to find out. We'll find out next week, too. They typically announce at the event. We were supposed to be Vegas last year, so I feel like it's not going to be Vegas. I'm going to go San Diego or Anaheim again. Or Scottsdale.
I was going to go Anaheim or Vegas only because last year would have been our second Vegas in a couple of years anyways,
Yeah.
so that may be becoming one of the normal rotations.
And I don't think we've never been to San Diego. I'm just throwing it out there because
Is there a convention center there?
well, I've got a couple friends out there that I visit quite regularly, and yes, I don't know if it can handle us. I don't know if they have the hotel rooms. That's why Vegas is becoming an easy ask because it's immense. What would be really cool if we do that, the Super Bowl is going to be the weekend prior to Family.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
So yes, so all the heathens from the Super Bowl will be leaving. They have to Windex the entire city, and then they'll invite us in with Mo with her white glove, like this city's disgusting. I will pray for you. Yeah, it'll be awesome. Anyway, if you guys got questions, comments, concerns, without fail, reach out 603-834-2856, and we'll see you in and around the campus. We'll see you online for Mega Camp. Kaylee, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank God for Kaylee. Otherwise, I just would have been on here winging it. Yes.
It's true.
We're going to be in Orlando. It's going to be great.
It would have been great.
Pack your sneakers.